Hello everybody, thank you very much for joining me today for another Twilight Zone video in my Twilight Zone review series where I rank every episode from the original series from my least favorite to my favorite. Today I'm going to be talking about number 112, A Passage for Trumpet, written by Rod Serling and directed by Don Medford. This is a season 1 episode, and as always there will be spoilers. So A Passage for Trumpet is just another average episode for me. There's nothing about it I really love and nothing about it I really dislike. I do know this is a favorite of some in the Twilight Zone community, but I could kind of just take it or leave it. It's just kind of there. So the plot of this one is that a down on his luck trumpet player named Joey Crown, he drinks a lot. He's basically not doing too well. Eventually he gets hit by a truck and he winds up in a state of limbo where he can kind of decide whether he wants to continue to live or not. So a decent premise, but the execution of it's only okay in my opinion. Jack Klugman is the lead in this episode. He plays Joey, and he gives a strong performance. This was his first of 4 Twilight Zone appearances, and he's good in all of them, and he's very solid here. John Anderson, who is also in multiple episodes, who I've talked about before, is fine in a supporting role in this episode as well. So basically, after we get some scenes to show how down and out Joey are, which are admittedly pretty effective, then he gets hit by the truck, as I mentioned, and he's in limbo. The character thinks he's passed on, but it's obvious to me right away that he hasn't, that he's kind of in this, state of limbo. And it's one of those things where it takes the character, maybe a bit too long, for my liking to realize what's happening, because I already know. But it works okay here. The scenes with him just walking around where nobody can see or hear him, they're not as creepy or spooky as I would have liked, but again, they're solid. Then Joey meets this man named Gabriel, who's kind of like a guardian angel type of sorts, and he's also a trumpet player, and he explains to Joey the situation. He tells him he has to decide whether he wants to live or not, and of course Joey decides that he does want to live. So he gets to go back and he gets another chance. And the dialogue is really good in these scenes, but the whole thing's just very predictable and not that exciting in my opinion. And this episode we actually get a nice ending. Joey buys his trumpet back, then he starts playing again, and he meets a girl, and that's a little bit convenient, but it is nice and sweet and fine. Maybe a little forced to me, but it works okay. It fits the theme of the episode. So, like I said, I don't really love or dislike anything about this episode. It's mostly well done, but it's just one of those episodes every time I get to it in the rotation, I'm like, oh yeah, Passage for Trumpet. It'll be fine. I don't get too excited about it, but I don't really mind it either. So that's why it ranks at 112 for me. Kind of an average episode, but on the upper end of average, if that makes sense. I do know this episode has a lot of fans, so as always, feel free to leave me a comment if maybe I rank this one too low or too high or just right. Thanks for your support, and thanks for watching.